Chapter 3. When Cory arrived at school the next morning, Anna Corwin was the first person he saw. It was raining hard, a freezing rain driven by gusty winds. He ran into the building through the side door, his leather jacket pulled up over his head. His wet sneakers slid across the floor, and he nearly collided with her. Oh! He grabbed the wall and stopped. He pulled down his jacket and stared at her. Her locker was the first one next to the door. She was pulling books off the top shelf and didn't seem to notice that he had nearly run into her. She wore a white sweater over a gray skirt. Her hair was tied back behind her head with a white ribbon. She's so pale, he thought. It's like I can almost see through her skin. Suddenly, the young man's raspy voice on the phone came back to him. "This is the Corwins, but there's no Anna here." Well, here she was. What was that guy trying to prove? Why had he lied to Cory? Maybe it was a jealous boyfriend, Cory thought. Or maybe Cory had dialed the wrong number, and the guy was just pulling a mean joke. "Hi," he said, swinging his book bag down off his shoulder. A stream of water poured from it onto his already soaked sneakers. She turned, surprised that someone was talking to her. Her eyes, those amazing eyes, looked into his, then quickly looked down. "Hello," she said. Then she cleared her throat nervously. "You're new," he said. Brilliant line, Cory. Wow, that's a real winner. You say 2 words to her and she already knows what a dork you are. "Yes," she said. She cleared her throat again. Her voice was little more than a whisper, but she seemed pleased that he was talking to her. "Your name is Anna, right? I'm Cory Brooks." "That's a little better, Cory. Just calm down, man. You're doing okay." He reached out to shake hands. He had to touch her, to know for sure that she was real, but his hand was dripping wet. They both stared at it. He quickly brought it back to his side. "Nice to meet you," she said, turning back to search for something in her locker. "You moved on to Fierce Street, right?" It was almost time for the bell to ring, but he didn't want to leave her. It had taken so long to find her. She cleared her throat. "Yes." "You must be pretty brave. Have you heard all the scary stories about Fierce Street? About the ghosts and things?" "Ghosts?" Her eyes grew wide, and her face filled with such sudden fright. He was immediately sorry he had said that. She seemed to grow even more pale. "What kind of stories?" "Just stories," he said quickly. "Not all of them are true, I don't think." "Nice going, Cory. Was that the only thing you could think of to say? How feeble can you get?" "Oh," she said softly. The fear didn't leave her eyes. "She's so pretty," he thought. "Everything about her is so soft, so light." His dream about her came back to him. It made him feel a little embarrassed. "Hey, Cory, looking good," some guy called to him. He turned to see who it was. It was just Arnie, giving him the okay sign from down the hall. "Later, Arnie," he called. He watched Arnie go into the wood shop, then turned back to Anna. I called your house last night. I just wanted to say hi. A guy answered and said you didn't live there. Did I have the wrong number, or—" "No," she whispered, closing her locker and locking it. She turned without looking back at him and ran down the hall, disappearing into the crowd of kids heading to homeroom. "Good mat routine," Coach Wellner said, giving Cory a hearty slap on the back. Cory, still breathing hard, grinned back at the coach. He knew he had done a good routine, but it was always nice to hear it from the coach. Mr. Wellner, a stern, powerful-looking man with a bodybuilder's physique, even though he was in his late 50s, was sparing with his compliments. So when he said something nice, he meant something. Behind them, the match against Matawan, the first match of the season, continued. Cory looked to the bench for David, wondering if his friend had witnessed his near-perfect routine. Then he remembered that David had sprained his ankle at the last practice. David was somewhere up in the bleachers feeling sorry for himself and being miserable. "Now don't press too hard on the rings," Coach Wellner warned. "You've been pushing yourself, trying to go too fast up there, and it's been throwing off your rhythm." "Yeah," Cory said, still trying to catch his breath. "You feel nervous?" the coach asked, staring at Cory as if trying to see the nervousness in his eyes. "No, not really. Just excited." "Good. That's what we want." Mr. Wellner seemed very pleased. "Just remember, don't push it. Easy does it." He turned away from Cory and let out a loud groan. "Get up, Tobin! You can rest later!" Arnie had just done the backflip to finish his mat routine and had landed flat on his backside. The 20 or 30 spectators in the bleachers were laughing their heads off. Arnie's face turned bright scarlet as he pulled himself up and slumped off the mat. Coach Wellner closed his eyes and shook his head disgustedly. Arnie's slip wasn't going to help the Shadyside team score, and the floor routine was the best part of Arnie's program. He was a complete klutz on the rings, and his parallel bar work was uneven to say the least. The Matawan guys were midgets compared to Cory and his teammates, but that gave them an advantage. They were light and strong and agile. A guy like Arnie should be playing tackle on the football team, Cory thought. Whatever made him want to be a gymnast? Whatever made Arnie decide to do anything? He was one of the flakiest guys Cory had ever known. He just grinned his way through life, seemingly without ever having a serious thought cross through his mind. "Okay, Brooks," Coach Wellner's voice broke into Cory's thoughts. "Go show 'em how it's done." Cory took a deep breath and headed to the rings. For some reason, they always looked so much higher at a real competition than in practice. He shut the world out as he started his routine. He didn't need his brain. The moves were all locked in his muscles. After practicing these moves thousands and thousands of times, he was like a machine, a smoothly running machine. Okay, up and over. Very smooth, Cory. Now faster. Get ready. Here comes the hard part. Up, up. And he saw Anna sitting in the bleachers. Was it really Anna? No, it couldn't be. Could it? And over, and again. Stop. Reverse. No, it was another blonde girl. The eyes. Those were her eyes. Yes, it was Anna. What a surprise! She was staring at him with those blue eyes. She's watching me, he thought. She came to watch me. He stared back at her, and he slipped, and dropped hard to the floor. He didn't feel any pain. He was just confused. He didn't really fall, did he? He didn't really blow the whole routine just because a certain girl had caused him to lose his concentration. "I'm falling for her," he said aloud, laughing as he slowly climbed to his feet. "What's so funny, Brooks?" Coach Wellner was shouting. "I'm falling for her," Cory repeated to himself. It was the second time he had fallen because of her. The second time he had embarrassed himself in front of a lot of people. Was that true love, or what? "What's so funny, Brooks?" Coach Wellner looked concerned. "Are you hysterical or something? You didn't hit your head, did you?" "I'm okay," Cory said, kicking the edge of a mat. "I just slipped, that's all." "There'll be other matches," Coach Wellner said. He suddenly looked very tired. This one's a comedy act. Go shower, Brooks. Then go home and forget about today. Right, Coach. Cory looked up to the bleachers. He remembered just where she was sitting, in the center of the third row. But she wasn't there now. He stared at an empty space in the row. His heart sank. Had she been there in the first place? He hadn't imagined her, had he? Was he cracking up because of this girl? No, of course not. I have to talk with her, he told himself. I have to call her again.